Alrighty, this here is my dad's 2012 Kia Sportage. It's got the turbo 2-liter in it, and it's got a bit of an issue. The turbo is now shut off, and it is absolutely gutless. But luckily, this is a pretty common problem. So I'm going to show you here today how to get in here, fix this issue with the turbo, which is pretty much just a purely electrical issue, clear your codes, and get all of your boost back. So without any further ado, I'm gonna grab this scan tool, hop in here, and show you the exact code that it's got. All right, so here I got the scan tool plugged into the OBD2 port, and this ain't nothing fancy. This is just like a $30 Walmart special. And we're just gonna put the car in ignition mode so that we can boot this guy up, and we'll read the code. And there we go, P2562, turbocharger boost control position sensor A circuit. I guess sensor A circuit, but whatever. All right, so that's actually a pretty helpful code because it pretty much tells us exactly what the problem is. Not always you get that. Let me show you where the issue is. All right, so if you look down in here, back behind the engine, you see that stainless steel rod right there? That sucker right there? That is a linkage that connects the wastegate on the turbocharger to an electronic actuator, a motor that allows the computer to, have complete control over how much, the wastegate is closed or open. What the wastegate does is it is basically a bypass for exhaust gases to flow around the turbocharger, which controls how fast the turbocharger spins, which determines how much boost you make or whether or not the turbocharger explodes. So it's an important component in the whole turbocharger system because it allows you to fine-tune when the turbocharger kicks in and all that kind of stuff. But here on this electronically controlled one, the computer is doing all that. So in order for the computer to know the position of the wastegate, whether it's open or closed, it's got to have a reference signal. And what's happened here is that reference signal has gotten out of whack, and the signal that's coming from this stepper motor, or the sensor potentiometer, however it's doing, there's the plug for the sensor right in there, is basically saying something ain't right, and the computer's going, well, something ain't right, so I'm just going to leave the wastegate open because that's the safest option. Because if it leaves it closed, you could have the turbo spool up to some crazy number and explode and grenade, which is not a good thing, or make some crazy amount of boost that causes you to blow a head gasket. So instead, what the computer's doing is, something ain't right, I don't quite know what's going on, I'm just gonna leave the wastegate open, which means that all the exhaust is flowing around the turbo. Well, maybe not all of it, but practically all of it. So your turbocharger isn't spooling up. So it's not making any boost, which means your engine's not getting enough air, which means that your engine runs like a gutless pig. And as demonstration, here's me doing a quick 0 to 60, just to show you that, this thing has no power right now. All right, so just to show you real quick, when this wastegate code pops up, you basically have no turbo left. So I'm just gonna do a quick 0 to 60. I'm not gonna hammer it all the way to the floor. I'm just gonna slowly push into the accelerator and just see how long it takes to get to 60. We're probably gonna go from a rolling start just because I feel like it. So we'll do a comparison before and after we go through this, just to show you that, I am in fact fixing something. So without any further ado, still have good power at the bottom end, but there's nothing there. Like, I'm to the floor right now. And there we go. So yeah, she's a bit slow. And that's because this car is built to have a turbo. It's built to have boost. You have a lowered compression ratio, and now that the turbo is not working, I am air limited. So the O2 sensors and the ECU are feeding back to each other, and it's dialing back the fuel injectors because there's no air for it to inject fuel into. So it's now a less powerful engine than it would have been if it was just a regular 2-liter that didn't have a turbo. Because this is built to have the turbo, because it's built to have boost in it, the compression ratio is lowered, which means it makes less power now, or it can make less power now with the same volume of air and the same volume of fuel because it doesn't compress it far enough. So it's less efficient. So yeah, that ain't a great 0 to 60 time. This thing used to put me back into the seat when my dad first got it. It does that from like 5 to 10 miles an hour, and then there's nothing there. And it was working all right up until, this code popped about 2 weeks ago. So yeah, I'm hoping it is just an issue with that reference signal and that we can adjust this and get it back to, working in full functional order. So a bit more about what we're actually doing here. So that motor right there pushes and pulls that linkage, which opens and closes a valve in the wastegate, which then redirects the exhaust either into the turbine or out the exhaust pipe. Now, if the signal that guy's getting is not right, it's supposed to be, I believe, 4.2. So if that sensor is not seeing the right voltage coming from that motor, after that motor pulls, I believe it closes the wastegate, and if the voltage is where it's supposed to be, it does everything normally. And if it's not, it could open your wastegate sooner or later if it doesn't see something right. And if it's too far out, it just says, I ain't doing that, and it just leaves it open. So the position of that motor to the position of the wastegate is based off of the relative length of that shaft. So you've got two levers here. So if you move the shaft, one direction, it causes, the wastegate to open or close. So that will actually change the signal voltage coming from the motor. So you can adjust the length of that rod in order to change the signal voltage coming from the wastegate and get it, back to the optimal voltage that the computer is looking for. And if there's nothing wrong with the motor and you do that, then the computer will go, okay, everything's fine now, and you can just clear the code and it'll go back to normal. So that's what we're going to try and do. And the wire we're looking for is the yellow one. And I don't know which one's the yellow one because this thing is covered in soot, but I'll have to get in there and clean it. All right, so this really should be all you need. You just need a voltmeter, ideally with alligator clips, or at least get a set of alligator clips that you can hook up to the voltmeter. A scan tool, because you're gonna have to clear the code. This was some cheapy $25 one I got off Amazon 10 years ago. You can get some fancy ones nowadays. 10mm wrench or a socket if you're a masochist, and a needle. Or in this case, I've got a thumbtack because that's just what I had in the garage. I'll go see if I can find a needle. Sewing needle or upholstery needle or tailoring needle, thumbtack, anything with a sharp point that's made of steel that's not coated. And that's really all you're gonna need to adjust this. It's pretty dirt simple. All right, it's the next day, so let's get the work started. But before we get into that, here I have the actual technical service bulletin from Kia. So I'm not just making this stuff up. I mean, you can literally just go on Google and just type in 2012 Kia Sportage turbo wastegate actuator adjustment and put the P2562 code in there, and this is like the second or third thing that pops up. So this goes over everything you need to know about how to service this, except it doesn't tell you which wire is the one that you need to, piggyback off of in order to read. But it does give you, adjustment values and all this stuff. It's not a lot of turns on this thing. And step-by-step instruction. I think I'm just going to pull that heat shield like it recommends and just take the pin off. There's a retaining pin on there. You don't want to lose it. You're going to need needle nose pliers to get that thing off. I would recommend tying a piece of fishing line or lock wire or something around the bottom of the pin when you take it off and put it on, just so that if you drop it, it doesn't go off into the ether and never to be seen again. But anyway, I digress. We'll be doing that. But this has all the good recommendations on voltage and all that stuff. So what we'll probably see is a voltage above 4.3 in there, and hopefully it's not some wild value because that means my actuator or my sensor failed, which would not be bueno. But we're going to get in there and try and do that. However, there's one complicating factor. I think every single guide I found online is for the Kia Optima from the same year range. There's nothing out there for the Sportage. And as it turns out, the harness colors on the Sportage are different than the Optima. So in the Optima, the yellow wire is the one you need to probe, and that is the bottom left, bottom passenger side when you're looking at the harness. On the Sportage, that's a blue wire. I am going to operate under the assumption that since the Kia Optima uses the exact same engine with the exact same turbo, that they probably have the exact same actuator and the exact same sensor with the exact same harness plugged into it. The only difference is the color of the wires. So I'm going to assume for now that that blue wire down there on the bottom left is the actual wire we need to be pulling the voltage off of. So what I'm going to do is jam this here Taylor needle into that wire and then turn the car to ignition. Don't turn it on, just turn it to ignition. We're going to hook the voltmeter up, negative side to the actual ground on the battery, and then the positive side to this pin. And then I'm going to get in there and we're going to pull this actuator, I believe, all the way to the driver's side. So it has a little bit of play in there, so you just want to move it all the way to the far end just to be safe. So yeah, as it shows there, it's got to be, you got to push that rod all the way to the driver's side as far as it'll go. So we just have to make sure it's in that position, otherwise it'll give us a different value, because the position of that rod will determine the position of all that stuff. So anyway, without any further ado, I'm going to get this guy out of here so I have a little bit more arm room. And we're gonna get 10 mil down on that nut right there, or bolt, to take that heat shield off so we have a little bit more access room. And we're gonna pull that pin out and pop that rod off of there. Well, actually, first I'm going to check the voltage, but then we'll be doing that so that we can make the adjustment. So, all right, so ignition is on. We've got this guy hooked up down there to the wire. Hopefully it's making contact, but we're just going to touch this off. And we may not be making contact. Okay, well, after some finagling, we got that in there, and yeah, 4.6 is not what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be either 4.1 or 4.2. So we got adjusting to do. What I ended up doing was I jammed it through the actual silicone insulator through the back, and so I've got it touching the inside harness, but that does appear to be the signal voltage. So I'm going to actually move this actuator and see if our voltage changes. Yeah, okay, so all the way closed, it's reading 0.5. It should be basically 0, so. Yep, so it does appear to be out of adjustment. Good deal. Well, I'm gonna go shut the car off. We'll get that heat shield out of the way, get that pin out of there, and make a couple adjustments, and see how far we need to go. But we gotta go about 0.4 of a volt, so that's a couple turns. All right, that took a little more effort than it needed to, but it's out of there. So this heat shield, at least on this Sportage, does not come out. It just, there's a second bolt holding it down there, so you can just take the first one out and you can pull it out of your way, but it ain't coming all the way out of there. And my C-clip was upside down, so I actually had to get a pick and slowly reach in there and very carefully try rotate the pin all the way around. And I sprayed that with just a little bit of penetrating oil, just to free things up a bit because it was a little rusty, but managed to get that pin most of the way around. And then when I thought I grabbed what was the top, but I actually grabbed one of the wings. And this is not spring steel. This is just like mild steel. It's just like washer material, because I bent the clip. And then I bent the clip, and then it sprunged off and then fell onto the ground, and thankfully I found it. But yeah, so be careful. You got to grab this part right here, this top part. Don't grab that. That's not the top. That's what I did. Don't do that. And additionally, there's a washer behind the actual end over there. So once you get the E-clip off of there, and then you have to push that the actual arm off and then rotate it up, and pick it up and move it out of your way. Then you want to immediately grab this washer, because this guy is just free flowing, and so it might just drop and then bounce that washer off into oblivion. And I mean, it's not, it's not, some sort of special OEM washer. It's just a washer, but just make sure you don't lose it. And if you do lose it, put one back on there. And before you take this off, another handy thing is loosen the lock nut. My lock nut was hella tight on there, and it doesn't need to be super tight. As long as one of them is tight, the rod is not going to move. It was anyway, all I'm trying to say is it was cranked on there. But now that we have that off, we can rotate that. So don't rotate it until you know exactly what your voltage is and everything. So the guide tells me to rotate it 1.5 turns clockwise. Doesn't specify which direction is clockwise, but clockwise. All right, so when it says clockwise, what it means is tighten it. So it's just regular threads, so just turn it clockwise if you're facing down the rod. Because that guy wants to know the position of the wastegate. The position of that is irrelevant. Other than that's what supplies the voltage. So when you shorten the rod, you pull the wastegate stays in place, but this guy comes this way. And the further this way it goes, the lower the voltage goes. So you're trying to lower the voltage, so you have to tighten this in to shorten the rod to pull this more this way to lower the voltage. So that says 1.5 turns, but it also says only do it like a half turn for 0.1 and 1 turn for 0.2, and mine's 0.4, and it says do it in 1.5. So it's probably going to be more than 1.5, but we'll start with 1.5, and then we'll just put it back on there without any of the hardware on there. Turn the ignition back on, pull it over, and see where it is. And I'm going to aim for about 4.1, just because I assume it's probably going to wear a little bit more. All right, so I gave her, I think, 1.5 turns. I had a sticky spot. I turned it in once, and when I hit 1.5, it got sticky. So I had to turn it back and forth, and then I backed it up and sprayed a little bit more PB Blaster and turned it back in. But now it's either 1 or 1.5 turns is all it took for me. So we're at 4.1 now. If I push there's actually slop in the actual rod to the actuator. If I push the wastegate in just a little bit more, it reads 4.2. If I push it all the way this way, it reads 4.1. So should be good. But I am just going to put everything back together. So it's pop that rod back, or turn down that lock nut till it kisses it, pop that back off, put the washer on, put the rod back on, put the clip in there, tighten the lock nut, and then it should just be a matter of putting the heat shield bolt back in, putting the engine cover back on, and then I'm going to shut the car off, plug in the scan tool, turn the car back on, ignition only, go in there, clear the engine code, shut the car back off, turn it on, shut it off, turn it back on, and that should have everything reset. And then we'll go take it for a test drive, and hopefully that's the end of the problem, and we have boost again. So we'll do another 0 to 60 and see whether or not we succeeded. All right, so quick little tip before you put this C-clip back on, just in case it decides it wants to escape into atmosphere, tie a little bit of dental floss around it, and then just tie that to your pliers or around your wrist or something like that. So if it does pop out, it stays right there. Because I am obsessive compulsive, I'm using a little bit of lock wire to hold it on there, just because. So I'm gonna pop that sucker on there and put that heat shield back on and be done. And hopefully I don't lose this again. Alrighty, she's put all back together. Everything's tightened. Got the scan tool hooked up. Let's get the ignition going. See if we can clear some codes. All right, codes have been erased. Shut her off. All right, I'm just gonna power her on, let her sit for about 5 seconds. Off. All right, she's been cycled twice. Turn her on. And we don't have a code at the moment. All right, let's go take her for a test drive and see if we got boost again. All right, drove the car up to head of the road and back. She's all the way up to temp now, and I can tell you the turbo works. So more or less the same place on the road, gonna do the same thing. Just going to do a rolling start and then just gradually roll into the accelerator, and we'll just see what the 0 to 60 is now. Bam. Didn't even make it to the floor. So night and day. And just like that, she's fixed. So great. That was a pretty simple, pretty quick job. It's just a little bit fiddly. I really don't like that C-clip. They should have just put a lock nut on there or something. But anyway, I digress. She's running just fine, just as good as she's ever had. If anything, she's got a little bit more pep, which is going to be annoying because Dad's got a lead foot. So he always likes to slam your head into the back of the seat. But anyway, I digress. So anyway, I hope this video helped you. So on the Kia Sportage, that's the key thing to note, is if you find any of the stuff talking about the Kia Optima, the only difference is that you're going to be plugging into the blue wire, not the yellow wire. It's the same pin on the sensor in the exact same spot. So that's really the only difference. So go pull up that technical service bulletin from Kia Sportage if you're going to do that. Just follow that guide. I mean, it's literally directly from the manufacturer. I'll drop a link in the doobly-doo and pop it up here right now to where you can access that. But, you know, just Google 2012 Kia Sportage turbocharger wastegate adjustment P2562 service bulletin, and it'll come up. But hope this video helped you. If it did, consider giving the video a like, comment, tell me if you ran into any weird problems with this, and I might be able to help you out. That's a lie, I don't read the comments. And anyway, if you want to see more repair videos on Kia Sportages, because I would rather not, because that means I've got to fix something broken on the Kia. But, you know, it's going to happen. So smash that subscribe button over there to see those, and until next time, I'm out.